All right, ladies and gents, your boys are back. Javier, Victorious, and special guest Jared Barbosa here, episode 142 on the Revolution Pod. Victorious, great to see you. Looking great on this, August 19th here. Jared,
here.
thank you so much for joining us, brother. I know we were talking a little bit before we went hot. And yeah, we got a lot of overlapping circles here. So we're going to get all into that mix. Before we do that, we always just like to see what's going on with people's summer. You know, it's summertime right now, but what's going on in the day to day. We talk about food a lot here, Jared. Before we get into the whole soccer journey, what do you guys got going on? I know, I was down on Martha's Vineyard. My man Stedman, he was cooking up, he was grilling up fillets. He had
What
some
island?
marinated
What island was that on, fam? What island?
That was Martha's Vineyard. I don't know. He lives like in West Tisbury, I think out there. But it's unbelievable food out there. We went fishing out there. I had like 4 or 5 on the hook at one time. So great job out there. Had a blast. But that's what's going on here. We're wrapping up summer. It's crazy to think about.
It is.
Victorious, what do you got going on? Jared, we'll kick it to you after. But again, thank you, Jared. Episode 142. Let's go, fam.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Welcome, Jared, from ISC here. We're excited. Episode 142. And yeah, like, share, subscribe. If you guys haven't already, little button down there. And man, summer right now, I'm in a little bit of a lull, fam. We got like no practice this week. Been practicing all summer, soccer, beach life, sun. I'm trying to get this tan line I got here. Yeah, man, it's been great, man. Connecting with good people, getting outside, grass, right? That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about, baby.
That's a fact, Jack. Jared, before we hop into any of the soccer stuff, what's going on lately? Any good meals that you've had? I don't know if you like to chef it up.
Yeah.
What's going on with you on the the recent scene here?
Yeah, man. Yeah, so I just got back. Every summer we go with my mother, so my kids, my wife, and we go spend a week at Salisbury Beach every summer. And so
nice.
So
that just happened. That just
happened. Yeah, last week. So that was a blast. And yeah, man, I stay on the grill in the summertime. So anything, anything and everything.
That's a fact, Jack.
Yeah,
I just grilled up some burgers for lunch. Are you a big seafood guy, Jared?
Not a big seafood guy. I will eat seafood, but I'm not a big seafood guy, though.
Yeah, I think we might be on the same camp because I'm not. I don't like sushi, to be honest.
No,
Jared, you're Brazilian, right? You're Brazilian, right?
Yeah.
First time I've been to a Brazilian steakhouse was down at the Cape, probably about 3 weeks back. First time I've ever been, by the way.
Real? First time?
Wow. First time.
I never been to a Brazilian steakhouse, like a Fogo de Chao type. Oh, fam, how was it?
Wow.
It was unbelievable. I mean, they busted out the steak and cheese steak. Like, literally, he's like, you want steak and cheese? I'm like, what, bro? Like, I want steak and cheese, bro.
Yeah, I do.
Please slap me some meat. You know what I'm saying? So,
we might have to take
great time.
We might have to take a trip to a Brazilian joint, fam. That sounds unbelievable. Jared, you're right. The grill stays on. Yeah, I'm a light seafood guy. I do like a calamari, though. You guys like calamari?
Yeah.
Yep. Not me.
Yeah, I love a calamari. But yeah, I'm not eating I'm not eating swordfish. I don't like salmon.
You don't like that pulpo? You don't want that pulpo?
No, I'm not really into the octopus. I'm sure if it's done right, but I'm not really. You eat octopus, Jared?
No.
He's not offended.
I remember my abuela, back in like the Bronx when we used to go to the Bronx. I remember the first time I lifted up like the thing and I seen like the head. I was like, yo.
Yeah, that's enough for me, bro.
Too much.
The last thing I'll give you before we get into it, Marcus did a lot of fishing this summer. My son Marcus, and he caught one. Last time I went with him. First thing he caught was like this big. It was like, I called it a sardine. It was like this big. And then the next thing he caught, it was like this big. It was a little bit bigger. It was like a fighter though. I called it a piranha. So yeah, the seafood is out there. People eat everything. I'm not too big into seafood, but great way to kick off episode 142. Again, thank you, Jared. Something light. I hope you enjoyed the beach over there. Great week of weather. I know that. The weather's been fantastic, man.
Amazing.
Victorious, a lot of soccer for you. I know there's been a lot of camps this summer, but really we're going to get into, Jared, again, joining us, episode 142. Want to get into his background. Obviously he's big into the soccer mix, just like the Rib Pod is, just like the boys are. So Jared, I know Victorious, you're talking about class of 2003 and Jared 2005.
Yep, high school.
I'm 2001. So we got a couple years right there. So Jared, let's get into it. I know you're from the area too, so we talked about a little bit of Salem State. I don't know where you want to start, kind of your journey, your background, but The floor is yours, baby.
Yeah. So born in Lowell, but raised in Nashua, New Hampshire. So I did all I went to elementary school. All my schooling was done in Nashua. So played ball in Nashua. Played for just the local clubs because at that time it wasn't like it was now or like it
What
is now.
what 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 was it? Like, I mean, not to interject right off the bat, but I
To
had to
interject.
because I'm interjecting, baby. I'm going in. Nah, because I was talking to one of my buddies earlier, and he talked about the Drake Devils.
Okay. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
talked about Lowell,
Yeah.
right? Lowell, Drake it. I mean, bro, same thing, bro. And the way I look at it is just, getting more of a sense because my buddy Mike was like, check in with Jared, see if he played the Drake at Devils, which, as Matty Correa, Drake it, he's connected
Shout
to
out,
that.
shout out.
So, yeah, man, I don't know if you can touch on some of those earlier days.
Yes. Yes. 100%. So first off, it was an absolute beast, and everybody that like the Devils had, that Drake and Devils had, were just beasts, man. They were they were like men, but like little kids, right? Like they were absolute beasts.
It's so funny how, right? We remember those teams or like those players are like, yo, you were like, I'm like looking up at these guys. They got like
Crazy
chest,
levels, bro.
chest hair. Like, yeah, these guys got mustaches. I'm like, man, damn, what's going on here? You're right about that, Jared.
Yeah,
You're right.
man.
You're looking up at these guys like men.
Yeah, man, and they but good players and played hard and it was mostly indoor. Like it was just we played
Yeah.
against them in indoor,
Yep. Yep.
and so we had some
In Drake it at that
in
old
Drake it.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. Some
And
crazy, crazy times.
crazy times. So yeah, played against them in Drake it and yeah, they were we always had battles, man. Always had battles. I honestly think they got the best of us, probably in the long run. Like they beat us more
Yeah,
than
iron
Hey,
sharpens iron, though, Jared.
they
Iron
got they got
sharpens
the
iron.
best out of a lot of people.
yes.
So you weren't the only one,
Yeah.
man. So
And they were like hated. Like they were
That was middle school, high school,
that was it's like middle school.
like leading into high school or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep. And
nice.
yeah, and even as they got a little older, everybody was like, wanting to beat them. And when you beat
Hey.
them, it was like it was something to go crazy over. A lot of battles in that place.
That's a
So,
fact, Jack.
I don't know if you knew this though, like playing there. So like of course I played there, but my father cleaned the place and my mother worked the snack bar. And so
unbelievable,
Yeah,
bro.
you
like
you tied in over there.
yeah.
There's a lot of history. I won't get too deep into it, but there's been for those who are listening in right now, I know there's a lot of like emotional, like in a good way, right? Like that place held a lot of memories for a lot of people who are probably tuning into this show right now. So shout out to Drake it, Lowell, Nashua. Honestly, it's like that triangle, bro. I think the way I look at it, it's so connected, man. I mean, we're from Haverhill, myself and Hav and Henry, the Drake it connection, the Nashua connection. I mean,
That's
it's
like
a
a little.
real
Yeah,
thing,
no, you're
bro.
right about that. There's a pocket over there in the MVC, like you're saying. It's Nashua, it's Lowell, it's Drake, it like that area, and then there's another pocket: Andover, Lawrence, Haverhill, Methuen. No, that's legitimate. That's legit. So, what do you guys? Did you ever play those guys in high school, Jared?
No, so because I was in New Hampshire, so we
Yeah, yeah.
never
I wasn't sure if you
no.
guys crossed over. Yeah.
Yeah, so no, we just played an indoor, and then it was kind of cool though. Is like so after pretty much Drake it like kind of closed down, and I hadn't seen Matt in forever, and I think the last. So then when I saw him again, it was actually I saw him. He played at UMass Dartmouth, and so we played. I think either they won 1-0 or we tied 1-1. But damn it, I think he won again.
Got your number. Got your number.
But
What
yeah.
position? What position you play, Jared? And how
So
did you guys end up doing in high school?
so I played at Nashua High South, and I was always a striker forward. In college, I got put out to like the wing. That's when like it's the modern game started getting into the modern game, and then
Yes.
I found myself out in the wing, left wing, and so yeah, I
I love
scored some
that.
goals, man. Scored
Let's
some goals.
go,
Yeah,
Jared. I
scored
was gonna
some
say,
goals.
stay humble, but we like to brag about it a little.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Good.
Now I'm putting a guy like you, bro. Like, all right, I see a little skill, I see some dog, some hustle. I'm sure you can score, but guess where you're going? You're playing right back. You're playing left back. You're gonna be my good guy out there scanning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because you
it's
need
tough to.
intelligent people on defense, bro. I try and tell my kids that all the time. Where scoring and passing is all great. We can touch on this, development of players and kind of, what do you kind of foresee as, at you 8, 10, 12 development level? Like, I know they say positions, rotate. And, I think as coaches, we all try and do that. But naturally, you see kids and you know what they are. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, how do you get the best out of, yeah, kind of a not real question, but more so development of players. Like, what's your ideal like player in terms of when you're kind of down? Are you looking to your forward to score? Are you looking for your midfield guy to kind of hold it together? Are you looking for your defense to be compact? Like, what is your kind of philosophy around that?
Well, it all depends, man. I think the it changes depending on the age, right? So like if you're to ask me, yeah, like my overall philosophy or approach to, player development, from a player that's 8 years old is much different than a player that's 13. And then my approach to a player that's, U13 to be like a Division 2 player or Division 3 player to a player that's U13 Division 1. I mean, there are still some general principles that you want to apply to those players, but then you also have to have realistic expectations, right? So, I'm not about to, I'm not about to ask my D3 player to, make consistent overlapping runs as as a right wing back and
Right.
like
Yep.
they I'm looking for certain things, so it's just like it depends on the age,
Yeah. Yep.
age and
By the
level
way,
and where they're at. So the
great answer there, right,
yeah.
Jared. And I think in my head, the correct answer. Yeah, you have to have that general core philosophy, but yeah, you got to kind of tailor made some things to a specific player in person. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, we jumped ahead a little bit, but I like that Victorious. Victorious hungry for some
Yeah.
of that,
Nah. Just
some of those,
when
some
you're
of that
when
deep
yeah when you
knowledge.
when you're in it, you're in it. What can I
Yeah,
say?
yeah, he's hungry for some of that deep knowledge. Yeah, and I wanna get there. I just wanna rewind real quick because I know we were just talking about you in college, and then just kind of like how did you get from college to the ISC joint, right? How
Yeah.
did kind of that
Yeah.
transformation go? You play a little bit after you graduated. Like I know we
Yes. Yes.
played
Yeah.
BSC. I know we played Boston Ski and Sports Club, whatever. Myself, Victoria, some of these guys after we graduated. So what
Yeah.
about at post playing career, getting into club work? Like how'd you get into the club stuff?
So, okay. So after I graduated, I moved back to Lowell. I was living with my mother in Lowell.
What year? What year? If you could put it into
That
perspective,
was
roughly.
That was 2000. So I
Like eight?
graduated my undergrad 2010. Yeah, 2010. And then, so I moved back to Lowell and from there, I actually got a job, like anybody else, you're kind of like, you graduate, you're like, all right, what's the next step? Right. And then,
What is it?
so I
Yeah.
was with a buddy of mine. It was actually kind of cool. I was with my best friend. His name's Randy. He lives down south now, but I used to be a Nashville Boys and Girls Club kid. So we went and visited the Boys and Girls Club. This is just what we did when we were kids. And, he's like, oh, look, a lot of renovation. Come check it out. So we went there. And at the time, who was, the COO was eventually my boss there. He actually was like, "Hey, what are you doing now? You graduated?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, I was like, are you looking for work?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh shoot, man, we just hired somebody. We'd love to have you." And then he's like, "But give me your number because in case something else pops up." So then all of a sudden, like a few days later, he's like, "Hey, I got a position for you. Come, I'll tell you about it." And it was a full-time gig,
Damn.
so and right down my alley, right? So like I was, looking into like I'm a guidance counselor now, but like at that time, it was more like I wanted to be a counselor, work with youth in some way, and so it was like it just kind of it worked out perfectly. And so yeah, so then so when I started working there about a year or two in, he asked me, he said, "Hey, if you I know you love soccer, if you want to start a soccer program, feel free." And I was like, awesome. Right. So at the same time, like coincidentally, I was, looking as I come back from college and I look around my community, I'm seeing people like me that aren't playing the game, and that aren't on teams and I was wondering like why there's so many kids not playing, and so then I just kind of did some research, looked at what was offered around, and At that time really was like either you paid a lot of money to play somewhere, and most families that come from the same background as mine or whatever, they just couldn't afford it. Or it was like rec ball, or you play for some people that just,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
parents,
some
you know what I
some
mean?
some wacky
So
Yeah,
balls.
like,
bro. Of
Yo,
course.
Jared,
yeah,
I gotta jump in and real quick and just I love you know what I love just hearing that story just right off the bat is how you connected with this dude from the Boys and Girls Club.
yeah,
Yo, I try to tell people that's what connections is about, and that's what
Absolutely.
and like just knowing people, getting out there, and like being that that little social aspect connects you to a job. It's not what you know, it's who
Yep.
you know,
We're
literally, and
getting
that just
being
that just played out.
being rich, right, is it can be in many ways, right? I think when you're rich from like a social perspective, meaning like, you have connect, bro. The world is the, the world's your oyster, as
Yeah,
they
yeah.
say, right?
When you tapped in with a whole bunch of different groups or whatever, but yeah, just having that aspect right there, I was like, yo, that
Power
was
people, yeah, that hit, Jared, because growing up in Haverhill ourselves, like I Boys and Girls Club. I mean, actually, it wasn't even a girls club; it's the boys club. The
the boys
YMCA
club,
was
yo.
like
Yeah,
crazy.
I
These
was
are
at
the
the
days
boys
big
club a
time.
ton, bro.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
same.
a
yeah,
fact,
yeah,
Jack.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, so like,
Awesome.
and that's how. So when
that's
he,
how ISC
yeah,
started.
well, we were born out of that. So what ended up happening was so when we started it, we were a ragtag U11 team. I had to, brief story. I would love to say his name, but I don't. I would want his permission before I did that. But there was a kid that at the time I saw him playing soccer on the street, and I knew he went to the Boys and Girls Club every once in a while. He would just like pop in, pop out, and then I saw him playing on the street, and he actually like lived. This is where I also met my wife here, but when he lived down the street from us, and so he was playing on the street, and so I pulled up and I was like, "Hey, I'm starting this team. I want you to play." And he was like, "All right." I was like, "All right, so come to the Boys and Girls Club, Monday, and we're gonna get you going, whatever." And so I'm gonna say his name. His name's Cody Lopez. So Cody Lopez,
Yep.
and so he came, joined the team, and like we kind of built the team around him. He was our oldest player, so we ended up having to play like up because like it's like,
Because
again, you're just trying to make it accessible, trying to get players to play,
Yo,
getting him to
that's your
play.
anchor. That's your anchor. That's your
Yeah,
anchor.
yeah, yep. So he was one of our, big time guys at the time. But yeah, that's how it all started. Like I said, ragtag,
I love that.
and then as each passing year went by, more and more people joined, and they realized like, they were getting a, quality, for just, paying the amount of being a Boys and Girls Club member, and they were getting a lot out of it. And so like a lot of the kids, we got a lot of people joining. So over the following 2 to 3 years, I mean, we added
Blew up.
another team,
Yeah,
then another
Well,
team, and then yeah, just kind of took off from there.
that's
I
awesome.
gotta say,
That
kudos to you, Jared. I mean, you gotta you gotta right, you gotta pop that like ISC shirt out a little bit more, brother, to show kind of all the all just the progression, man. I mean, even over the last few years, to be fair, right? I've seen your club grow tremendously, truthfully,
Yeah.
just in recent times. So yeah, man,
Mhm.
I
we love to
it's
see
great
it.
to see, man. We love to see it, bro. We love to see it, man.
What about Jared? So as you come up now, like more recent times, ISC. That's by the way, like great, like origin story right there. Like
Yeah, and there's so
this
much
guy's
more.
from this
There's
guy. No,
so much more.
I believe it. That's awesome to hear, and it's like literally you got to start somewhere, right? You built it around this one kid. Awesome. I hope he's doing well, right? Hope he's doing well, or he ended up playing, or whatever. You don't have to get it all into yeah, like you said. It's hard to make that stuff personal, but and I was just thinking in my head while you were saying that, I was thinking like the Hardball movie, like
Yeah.
I was thinking that,
Yep.
and then this guy's Keanu Reeves,
It was.
and then
I don't want to
yeah,
say I was Keanu, but like I'll tell you one thing. It was
that hit,
precisely
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But
That's awesome.
those are real
Yeah, you could,
stories.
yeah,
I mean, that is
you were
like
painting that picture. Yeah, yeah, you were painting that picture,
100%. Like
and then
that movie, it's like those, we got, here we are. We got someone on it, living it.
I'm gonna
and
step
then
right to the side. I gotta grab my charger here.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
grab that
brother.
charger up.
Do it. Do
Yep.
it. Do it. Do it.
All good. So I know, fam, Victorious. One thing that like we always try to get into, and even while Jared's here, and we can
Yeah,
like splice this too if we really need to. But one thing that we always try to talk about is like, yo, like mentors or people who've helped us along the way. Like, yo,
yes,
how do we get into this? Like I've had so many mentors, fam.
so many
Wow,
fans.
super lucky. I can't even tell you. Like I can name like first of all like two or three just in volleyball, obviously with an ultimate one, but volleyball hits right away. Your boy Nunzio, rest in peace.
Bro, I was
Ber-
rest in peace, Nunzio. I
Bernie
was telling Luke,
Bernie
I was giving
McCann,
Lucas, yeah, yep,
Peter
100%.
Kitsis. You know what I'm saying?
Gets us,
So
bro. Yep.
yeah, I don't know,
Johnny,
Jared, if you caught that at all, but
John Capola, Haverhill, you know what I'm saying? Youth, come on now.
I know you had your goalie coach. Dave Laziska, I think, right?
Yep, Dave, Coach Dave, 100%. Shout out Dave.
Jared, we were just mentioning, people, coaches, even, not even, I have like a mentor at work, just people who have helped us along the way who like, yo, I know if I was, man, super blessed, Victorious just ripped off a couple coaches. Chip Dunn, he said,
I will. That's crazy. I will say he motivated me, but
in a different kind of way. So any
fucking guy.
coaches, any mentors who seemed like you had, even that one who maybe who maybe saw you come back to the boys club and was like, yo, what are you up to these days after graduating college? So what do you
Yeah,
think about like anybody who kind of made it easier for you or kind of blessed you a little bit?
yeah. Listen, I mean, I've had plenty. First and foremost, right. So like my father, my brother, who all
Yeah,
paved the way. In terms of like in terms of like training, and then just like my mindset going, for the game, my love for the game, and
shout
then
out, I love that. First and foremost is family,
yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
yeah, and then give me 1 second.
No,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
good.
no,
You're good. You are good,
Yeah,
bud.
do your
let me
thing.
go grab that real. This is like
Yeah, yeah,
We can
do
splice this, so don't even worry
we're
about
gonna
it.
come. We're gonna come back to this, Jared.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
yep. Hydration break.
Oh, good. I love that.
We can easily splice it. Let's back it up.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yo. So yeah, Jared, I'll roll it into you, fam. You were just going on about some mentors. Even I was going on. One of the big questions we ask everyone on the show, all our guests. Fucking thing out of my face. All our guests, Jared, is like, yo, who's been there for you? Obviously like our parents, our family. Shout out to these guys. You can definitely shout these guys out. I definitely would. But any coaches, any mentors along the way, hit on that.
Yeah. So I and then, so like I was saying is like again my father, my brother for helping shape again my love for the game. And then I'd say is another one who, he passed away man, almost 10 years. His name was Charles Collinson. And so like he was when I started working at the Boys and Girls Club, Charlie knew me as a kid, like as a young kid. So it was cool to, kind of go back there and see him, and he was very like he was instrumental in kind of like supporting me on kind of going back and getting my master's degree, and like because I had questioned myself, and he was like, listen, don't go get your degree, Matt. And so like and he was, very helpful in that and helped me along the way, because again, I wasn't the most academically savvy kid or student. I love school now. Like when, in my master's program, I loved the classes. I loved engaging, but yeah, the academic work was a little bit challenging, but he was always there to help. So, Charlie was, huge for me. Kurt Norris at the Boys and Girls Club, who was again my boss at the time, and it was a real cool story, man. It was so actually when I was working there, this thing it got pretty big, and it actually took up a lot of time. I'm sure he would laugh about this now, but like he used to give me a lot of crap. Like he used to give me a hard time
You're like, yeah, look what
because
you've done, bro.
it just was a lot of work, but what was really cool though was I hope, he doesn't get mad when I mention this, but it was really cool. So like he one day he was driving by my house, and I live in Merrimack, and I live across the street from like the transfer station. So like anybody that lives in Merrimack has to go by my house. And so like you'll hear beeping all day because like they'll say what's up or whatever. So he stopped by my house one day, and he was like, he actually told me, he's like, listen, I want to let you know, like, I'm sorry for giving you such a hard time. Like, and this was years. I mean, this was like 2 summers ago. And I mean, we're talking years after. And so, and like he has no idea like how much that meant. Like, you know, like cuz at the time it was like it was tough, you know. I was never going to stop doing it. Like that is for sure, but like it was just, you know, it was just annoying, you know. And so but but for him to do that was like fun to just it was just huge. So it was just like it was awesome because it was kind of one of those things that
Mm,
kind of like solidified to me like just keep doing. Just keep
I
doing it.
love that. I
Like
love
just keep
that,
going,
Jared.
you know?
I love that, Jared.
So
So,
so
so
cool.
how,
And also speaks to like how when you are a mentor,
Mhm.
it requires a lot of over time. The goal that it takes, it becomes it's less hard to deliver it. I think over time you realize like, dang,
yes.
I was hard, but guess what? I got what I wanted out of it. I can come back to it, say now, yo, my bad for whatever, leaving you on red,
Mhm.
whatever the hell
Yeah,
it
yeah,
may have
yeah.
been that made you stronger. But
Yeah, yeah.
it
That's like
speaks to the mentor
that's
side of it, man, where it's like
that's a lot of
I don't think
parenting.
we speak
That's a lot
enough
of
of it.
life, fam.
I think it's like, yo, it's but that's what it takes though.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta sometimes you gotta deliver the bad news or deliver the tough blows or yeah. It's not
It's
always easy, but yeah, I like that, Jared. Great. That's unbelievable that he swung by and kind of mentioned those words or whatever. But how do you think, or like, how did it morph from the boys' club to? Is it like an independent thing now?
Yeah, yeah. So what
Yeah,
ended up
yeah.
happening was as I was like we kind of grew out of the skin of the Boys and Girls Club because we grew it got so big that like it just like it cost a lot of money. So like it started placing a quite the burden on their budget, at least that was my understanding. And so but it was like coincidentally I was also moving on professionally, right? So like, you know, that
yes.
job was a stepping stone. So like I was, getting prepared to go to grad school and I needed to take that next step into the career that I was looking to get into. So what ended up happening was I moved on from there and I started working at Greater Nashville Mental Health as a case manager. I did that for a year. But at that time, again, another coincidental thing, and some other mentors of mine, Liz Fitzgerald and Mike Apfelberg at United Way of Greater Nashua. At that time, there was this initiative being built around improving overall health equity for immigrant and refugee families in the community. Soccer was seen as a best practice, right, of that. So again, coincidentally, it was like, I was leaving that position. Um, and Liz had reached out to me and was like, hey, we're looking for a chair of this committee. We wanted to see if you wanted to be a chair of this committee. And so I was like, sure. And then, she was like, yeah, and we want to help kind of support what you're doing with soccer. And so what we did was we sat down, we discussed like a 3-year plan to become our own nonprofit organization. So that's what we did. So like over
That's
the
awesome.
Wow.
yep, so they helped us United Way, and that's what United Way's essential role is, is just helping other nonprofits and
You're speaking to something that I actually was hoping to kind of get into.
I
And
love
I
that,
think
fam.
for anyone who's looking to build a club, and to be fair, I'm part of a part of a club building process right now where we're considering something like that.
Shout out Rangers,
It, Shout out Rangers Academy, Henry, out here in Methuen,
RFA.
Southern New Hampshire, RFA baby. We're just trying to get a better understanding of how some of these things. So whether it's a club like us or anyone who's trying to get into it, you just spoke a little bit. You just spoke to it. It's around connections and knowing the right people and how to kind of attack that nonprofit piece versus it's for, which to be fair, you're not really making profit, even though it's for profit. Let's be
yeah,
real here.
yeah.
It's just how does someone even how would someone new even go about attacking that, Jared?
Listen, you don't know.
Right.
Like these are the things you don't
Yep.
know until you're actually in it.
In it.
And but I'll tell you one thing, being able to if I didn't have Liz and Mike, as a resource to kind of help us through that process, and then that would have been tough. That would have been that would have been hard.
I love that, Jared.
You got it. I think what I'm hearing here, and not to again, it's that again, knowing people
Yeah.
and again, it's not all about it, but it does,
Well, fam,
and not
and
just
Jared,
anybody.
I'm sure, like, I'm the type of be like, "Ah, I'll do it. I'll do it myself. I'll
Yep.
do it alone." Right?
Yeah.
I don't need nobody else. I'm that. I'm stubborn like that. I'm an idiot like that. So, yeah. And really, nobody's done anything alone. Of like, people have all kinds of support. Like, yo, support is massive. So,
Yep.
I love to hear that, Jared.
Yep.
So that's
Two
kind of
keys to
evolved
success.
into.
You ready? Two keys to success that every successful person has is
Mm,
emotion regulation and the company that they keep. So
mm.
you have those two things, man. You can control your emotions and have good company. You're in good shape.
Boy, I love that.
Yeah,
So
that's a clip.
let's get into modern times, Jared. Let's get into modern times. We overlapped with your brother. That's kind of how I got kind of introduced to you. And then you got just like how's the club going like currently, and kind of what's going on. What do you got planned for this fall? How'd the summer go? Yeah. Well, how's the future looking?
Awesome, man. It's awesome. It's just a lot. It's a lot. We've experienced, great growth. My goal is not to be massive. That's not the goal. I think
So
you
like what?
can.
How many? What like what's the number of team you have? Do you have girls as well?
Yeah, so we have
Yeah.
the
Like what do
the
you
only
got
thing is
going
we
into
have
the
a
fall?
girls team. We have a
Okay.
girls team.
Got
Like,
us. It
but we've
starts with one.
yeah. Well, it's the thing is in Nashville community, the girls soccer is suffering a little bit. In terms of numbers, like middle school numbers are down big time. I think one of our high schools, there's no JV team for girls, like because it's not enough. Yeah, so it's tough for girls, but yeah, like we're fielding this fall is 15 teams. We have total. I think it's like 18 teams. So once we hit spring, we'll have a 16, a 17, 19, a U23, and then our UPSL Premier team. Yeah. So
Love that.
yeah. So it's like
I mean, I'm saying like wow over here because honestly, it's impressive. I mean,
It
I'm
is impressive,
literally
and you should
sitting.
be proud of that too.
appreciate it.
You're 100% be proud. We're proud, honestly. I'm
Yep,
proud.
for sure.
Your community's proud. I'm sure your family's proud. I mean, your father's proud. It's like everything, the whole nine. I think for me, you know, as I look at like the future and how to even sustain the club, I'm probably switching gears a little bit, but it's like one of the questions here is, you know, parents, man.
Hmm.
I gotta get into it,
Fans
like
getting
Yeah.
into the juicy stuff. I love it.
I am. I mean, it's like,
Well, you
what
coach,
do you
fam. I
feel
coach. Right,
we
we all been playing. We all been dealing with the parents, like both as players, as coaches. Yeah, like fam, like ultimately,
well,
like and like they're our bosses ultimately too, right?
they are, man. They're like the fans of WWE. They control it all in some way. The way I look at it, it's like, yeah, it's not an easy thing to balance. I think, for me, and I bring it up not as even as a question, more as just like a real thing. They are the people who drive it. They get our kids there. They're the ones signing them up. We want to support them. They're real. It's real. The balance of that is takes a lot to manage that. Right now we're helping Henry kind of manage a little bit of that. It makes me think like, gosh, like how much does one person really do behind the scenes? I mean, we're seeing a lot, like what one person does and like what you really need to sustain a club, bro. So how do you manage like parents and challenges and like what do who do you go to? You know?
Listen, I think first, there's no doubt. There's a lot of sacrifice, man.
Mm,
There's no doubt about it. So, like, I
mm.
can, that's one thing. It's just a lot of sacrifice. Look, but for me, like, it's like this is like breathing. It's not even a love. It's like breathing. It's just, I don't know if I didn't have it. If I didn't have it, I don't know that I'd be breathing. I don't know. Like it's so. Now, like so it is just means a lot. There's a lot of sacrifice in it, and that's just what it is. When you're starting out, that's just what it is. And I'll say this though, like when talking about parents, right, and managing parents and dealing with parents, and to be honest with you, I could probably on my one hand if you over the years. I mean, I've been at this. The work that we've been doing has probably been about 15 years. Um, you know, I can count on my one hand like the amount of like
Like
parental issues.
problematic.
I would,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Yep.
would
Yep.
categorize
Yep.
as parental
That's
issues.
good. Wow,
Uh,
what a
That is
blessing.
good.
yeah, and listen, I think it's real. I think it's real, and I can opine on that. It's like there's other things that I think that can go into that, but I think first thing when you're running a club, I think anybody respects. One is when they know people are making a sacrifice, but two, it's important to have a vision. To have a vision, and when you have a vision, people have something to follow, and as opposed to just kind of like I'm just joining to join, right? Like it's like people want to join a something. They want to be a part of something. And so like and that something needs to have a vision. You have to have where are you going with it? Where do you want to go with it? And I don't know if you've read any books on laws of attraction, but like I'm a huge energy person and huge I believe in the law of attraction immensely, and you will attract what you are, and so like I think,
I like
it's
that. I like
so
that.
it's instead of like sure I could point to some of the things, some parents this whatever, but I kind of the way that I look at it is I'm always looking at myself first and being like,
Mm,
what could I have done better? Was there anything that I could have done better? Sometimes there isn't, man. Sometimes it is like, oh, you're just, overreacting. Sometimes that's the case. But if you
You
have a
touched on
vision,
it
if you
earlier. You touched on like that emotional regulation too, and how much that is, a crucial part to whatever, handling the situation and not making it bigger than what it needs to be. I only bring up the parent stuff because I'm a parent myself. You just see this, like you said, sacrifice that parents make to
yeah,
ensure that their kids are getting to the play, getting playing time that they feel that their kid deserves. And yeah, man, the challenges that coaches have to almost like brush it off and have a positive attitude to say, like you said, like law of attraction, like, create positivity coming your way. And if you have a good way of handling it, it's going to get handled. Right. And if you go about it negatively, it's going to be negative.
yeah, I love
correct.
that, Jared. I
Yeah,
think about like I always I say I always lead with respect. Always, always, always. Before I don't know anybody, I'm gonna lead with respect. You know what I'm saying? I want to give people benefit of the doubt. Sounds like that's what you're doing over there.
be
It sounds
honest
like yeah, it
and be
sounds like it
honest.
served you well. Yeah,
Yeah.
transparency, absolutely.
Yeah, and be honest. That's a key thing too. I think is huge. It's just being honest and being transparent. And what does that mean? That doesn't mean like, oh, your kid is not good. That's not what that means. It just
Of course, of course, of course.
when you're people can sense, they can sense.
So
So just be honest.
I gotta I think we're at a. It's funny. Three different, I think, clubs, right? Because my son plays at Seacoast, right? So my son plays at Seacoast. I think like a big established club that's been around for a
A
while.
lot of money.
Lot cheap. Talk about sacrifice, right? When you talked about
Yeah.
sacrifice, I was like, yo, you should look at my car, right? You should look at my car. Not, believe me, I could get a. We could do all that, and but when you're talking about that, I was in my head. That's the thing. So we got like an older club. Seems like you're in the middle with the ISC joint, and then we got RFA, up and comers. So it's funny, kind of three different point of views that we have, and then I think we all have kind of somewhat experience with the other clubs, or we've interacted with the other clubs, so we have all those kind of point of views. So yeah, the soccer world is small.
Yes.
We ripped off like three or four guys, like the Drake guys, a bunch of MVC guys, obviously Henry with these guys. Your brother up there, a bunch of Nashville guys. Yeah, just in general.
I just gotta say that the best player, and this I gotta ask you, Jared. I mean,
Mm,
for me, like the best player that I've ever been on the field with, and that means like getting spanked, Mike Cafeterio, Drake. I
Oh
mean, he's
man, class,
literally.
dude.
I
Class.
mean,
Class,
Mike for
dude.
me is just like,
Class. So class.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I had the privilege of playing with him for 2 seasons on districts, and just watched like,
Yep.
right,
Yep.
what like greatness was. So I mean, shout
Got to
out to
play
Mike.
against him.
I know he follows the Riv Pod, and he's all for the journey of it all, man. So shout out to Mike, and yeah, we did a lot of Drake talks. Who's your guy?
maybe too much Drake attack.
Whatever, man.
Best guy that I've played with, man. Gosh, there's okay. Well, first, I grew up and I got to see Charlie Davies, so we grew up together. So not like it wasn't like for a long time. So I'm not going to say that, but like like he
Yeah, you had
enough.
some
the house
exposure to yeah.
chilled, and we
Yeah.
like our fathers worked a camp together and ran a camp
Yeah, yeah.
together. Like so I got to see it was like interesting to see a player who got to the level that he got to,
Yeah.
but to see like what that
That
player looks
was.
like at like 10, right? Like when he was 10, it was like so like we had camp and we would play like barefoot. So like Coffee and my father were huge about his dad and my dad were huge about playing barefoot. And so like we would play barefoot and some kids would play with cleats because they were like, oh, I don't want to play barefoot, I'm gonna hurt myself. So Arlie, like it was as if he had cleats on. The way he moved, speed, tenacity at such a young age. He was just like he was just different. He was just different, and it was like I'll never forget that. Like I remember him zooming by somebody one time when we were kids, and like then looking at his feet, and he was barefoot, and the kid had cleats on, and the kid was about 3 years older than him, and so it was like so I saw that but I mean there were so like I had at Salem I played with Utah Kazaki, a center midfielder, man. This guy moved like he reminds me of a dude that just retired from Croatia.
A
Luca.
Modric?
Luca.
Yes, he
Yeah.
moved exactly like Modric, dude, and like he was such a class player. And then there's a guy named Christian Gomes who I played with at the Blues Club, who was also unbelievable. He hated practice, but he was unbelievable.
Practice.
What Blues Club? Which Blues Club? Which
And
And
one?
Lowell.
Lowell, and
Yeah,
Lowell.
yeah,
Okay,
Lowell.
okay, the
Yeah, yeah.
Lowell, the Lowell.
Yeah,
the Lowell.
that's where I played against Cafetero. He was playing at the Reds,
The
and
Reds,
we played
yeah.
at the Blues.
And by the way, I love like the Blues, the Reds. I love all that stuff too,
Yeah,
man.
the history of all that stuff is
I
insane. It's
love that
crazy.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to hear that, Jared. Yo, we're going to be wrapping this up in a little bit, episode 142, man. Awesome conversation here with Jared Barbosa, Victorious, your boy Javier, Rip Pod episode 142. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Anything, Jared, anything. The floor is open to. I know you mentioned WWE before. I know, we got some. I know some. One of my favorite Survivor Series is coming up here. Down by Thanksgiving. But the floor is yours, Jared. We got like a couple minutes here. Let's put a nice bow on this episode, man. A lot of good energy. I don't want to say the Drake talk, man. I'm gonna say the Lowell, Nashua, Drake area talk.
Cool.
MVC talk.
Yeah. We
Anyway,
can drop it
Jared.
over.
Well,
Jared,
I'll tell you. I know. I think Victoria's got a question for me.
We can dub it over.
And he was telling me I got a question for you, and I'm going to ask you at the end
Oh,
before.
let's go, Victorious. I love
Yeah, I'm
that.
gonna ask it. It's right
Let's
here.
go.
I got it verbatim, and it's a good one. I've been thinking about it all week, just kind of like get it together.
Oh, I love that.
What is the single most vital truth or perspective you hope every parent and young player fully understands before committing to a soccer club?
Depends on the soccer club. Yeah, it depends on the soccer club.
If we're gonna go off like a high, medium to low type of tier, we'll go with the medium sized club. We'll call it not to say above, but like we'll call it like in the middle. How would you say that? So, again, what's the most vital truth or perspective you hope every parent or young player fully understands before committing to that level?
Player or parent fully understands that, man. It's a good question. That I think it's a very good question. I think for me is like I think that like it's important that because families and players can be a little bit different, right? What the family's expectations from the player's expectation, kids just want to play. Okay, kids just want to play. So I would say honestly, I feel like the most important thing is that families, let the kids play.
Yeah, like, are you having fun? Are they having fun?
Well, yes, and I just think something that's vital that I'm seeing a lot, is that let the kids play and don't make it about you. Like you don't have to live through them. Don't live vicariously through them. Like just let them enjoy the game. And I think that's really it. And just like
Yeah.
like
It sounds so simple, Jared, but like
Yeah.
we've all been in it enough to say like, yeah, that like we've all experienced whatever X, Y, or Z to say, yeah, If it was that simple, you wouldn't just be saying it like that. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
it's super complicated. Just when we're talking about soccer in the US, man, pay to play, and it just this for me is the largest issue and is the root to every issue. Everything that you see in soccer in the United States is a side effect of pay to play. Period. And it doesn't matter, like, it's inarguable. That's what it is. We're living constant side effects of pay to play. And that doesn't mean everything needs to be free. It just means that it just people are paying an extraordinary amount of money to play a game that they are very, 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 very likely to not go anywhere with it. As weird as I don't want to like bash dreams,
100%.
but
That's
like
exact
but like at the very least, at least in the countries like Spain, Italy, Portugal, Brazil, that are actually developing players at a rate that maybe you'd want to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for, but we're not even proven. And people are throwing it over a 10 to 50, 7 to 10 year period, $150,000 at these organizations. And then at the end of the day, having to be like, well, it was good because he learned how to become a leader or something. Like, so you paid
yes,
150,000 over the course of 10 years for a
100%.
leadership
So
thing?
For your kids to not make it, yeah, be play. Yeah, I already know this could be like episode 2, right?
yeah,
But it
so
is important. But it is important for that to kind of, I guess, be put out there. Just the whole pay to play concept.
that's a
And
fact, Jack.
yep,
I think
yep,
in general too, like even well, I think one of your overarching themes was like expectations. Expectations, because I think what you said is exactly right. I've gone into so many practices, Jared, of my sons or anyone else, and I'm like, I have actual experience of playing at a somewhat high level, both two sports, right? Which is crazy. Sometimes when you're in it, you don't even realize it. But yeah, I played like high level volleyball, high level soccer, and I go to the practices, and I'm like, bro. And actually, I've seen some kids at my son's age who are like really, really good, and I understand like, hey, like if my son, and then I see some of these kids going into Salem State. All right, I follow Maddie on the socials, and I see the kids, and I see some of their credentials and some of their CV basically because that's where we're at, and I'm like, yo, just to play at Salem State, it's going to be a tall order.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know, so
Exactly.
so yeah, just expectations overall. Just
yeah.
expectations overall. Like, yo,
Riv,
do you
fam.
know
Like,
what you're
even
getting
Riv,
into?
like, not
Yeah,
for nothing. You could, like,
same
I wouldn't say it was like
same
walk
scenario.
on, but it's like, yeah,
Same
yeah,
scenario.
absolutely, absolutely. And by the way,
So
shout out Riv.
yeah,
What a
shout out
come up.
Ribs, Salem State, gang, all the boys. I can't wait for my man Jeff the volleyball season. But Jared, that's what I was kind of overall. That's what I was kind of getting. When is you got to set those expectations. You got to let or just like have the club expectations. Like, yo, this is kind of our philosophy. This is how we operate.
Yeah.
And and like you said, have that when you come to the club. Have that 2, 3, 4 year plan. But
Yes.
yeah, pay to play is
Definitely.
kind of grimy. The whole situation kind of stems from that. Yeah, I can't agree with you anymore. That's a great question,
Yeah.
Victorious.
And I'll say this too, just to quickly, just to add on, but like specifically, players continue to dream big, dream big,
Love it.
and but
Yep.
let your effort and your work speak for itself. Like, and it will. It ultimately will. Anybody wants a good player, okay? And given the evolution of soccer between with video cams and getting getting exposure is like easier now than ever. And so like where you play, who you play for. Okay, yes, to a degree it matters. I'm not gonna act like it doesn't at all, like there's zero value. But when now being a parent and paying for a home and then being like weighing out, like, am I gonna invest all of this money, like, to for what? Like, honestly, like, regardless. And how many of those guys you see not go to college or stop playing soccer or like,
If there's
it's
one thing I can say is that with any amount, and even at the level that we're playing at, it costs money. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? We're at the tier that we're at. Trust me, like traveling, and we travel a lot, and it's almost like the not the lower you are, but the lower you are, the more you have to outreach and get out to people. So it's even more of a grind. But yeah, man, it's like for me. it's important for the kids to hear, and I think it's important for families and everyone to know, if at the end of the day, I pay all this money, I wanna make for damn sure that my kids having fun. And
Mm,
that then when they're out there, they wanna go. I'm not dragging them. I'm not pulling them by the arm. It's like, "You wanna go. You got your bag ready. I don't even have to." That's the stuff for me. It's like, because that's for me, that goes into, like, life too,
Mhm.
mm.
which,
Yep.
like, right, we're all in this for the betterment of, like, our kids and us and learning how people, like, adapt to adversity. That's why I'm in it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm in it, you know?
I love that. I
And it's
love
just
that,
that
fam.
that's why I also think is like parents, like when we talk about parents and when, like parental issues, it's like, if you are a parent that is investing, anywhere between 3 and 5K a year to do this thing, and you're like, and you're not getting what you think you should be getting out of it, like, so essentially you're buying a product, you're not getting what you want from said product, you're going to be upset about it because you're a consumer. Like,
Yeah, no, it's yep, yep,
so
It's really that simple.
it
It's
is,
really
yep.
and
that
but
simple.
they're paying a
It is
lot of
1
money
plus
for it.
1 equals 2. Yep,
Yeah, and
yep.
and so players dream big. Let your don't worry about who you play for. Your work will speak for itself. Any coach always wants a good player no matter what. And families, just be educated, and accept these conversations that are happening about what's going on. And you don't have to sacrifice a quarter of your salary or your family's salary or your quality of life because you're
Right. Qual
driving.
and to be and that's and you just we talk about it a lot on these episodes, Jared, is time. How much we value time, and money is one thing, but time is another.
Yep.
So, yeah, whatever time you're sacrificing, you're dedicating to all this, at the end of the day, make sure it's, I guess it's worth it. And at the end of the day, it's like, what is everyone's worth? What does everyone value? At the end of the day, for me, it truly is happiness. It's, companionship. It's friendship. I guess if that's what I'm paying for, and shit, my kid better be a little good.
Uh,
The thing is, you don't need to pay that much money for friendship, companionship, and you
True.
don't you don't need.
No, no, no. It's true. It's all true, Jared. It's all true. It's all true, my friend.
awesome, boys. Yo, episode 142. Hey, I'm gonna leave you with this, Jared. I'm gonna paraphrase. Dream big for the kids.
Yeah,
Dream big.
absolutely.
Yes.
I thought that was awesome.
Yep.
Episode 142. Any websites, Jared? Anything that we
Yeah,
can plug?
Yeah.
internationalsoccerclub.org. We're there, we're here. We're only, we're doing more and more. Some exciting, new projects coming up too. I'm working with the community a lot, and it's just more and more. Our work
I
is
like that.
not close to being done yet.
More to follow. I love that.
I
We might
love
have
it.
to get a episode 2 or a to be continued on this, but
Absolutely.
thank you again, Jared. Of course, victorious. Brought the energy, boys. We
Always.
appreciate it. August 19th here, almost August 20th. Shout out. Let's go. Keep the summer going. Yo, good luck to all the teams in the fall coming up here. We got all the
Everyone.
tryouts and evals, all that shaking out all the teams. Hopefully, not too much drama with that. But episode 142. Thank you, Jared. Peace
No,
out. Thanks,
Jared.
everyone.
Thank you guys.
142.
Thank you.
Yep. Stay with
Peace.
us. Don't log off. Don't log off.
Peace.